Darkness is all around us. It welcomes us. It invites us in. But through the darkness, light has come to expose it, to save us from darkness, so that we may see. Light is love. Light is truth. Light is life. Do you live in the light? Or do you dwell in the dark? Glow where the dark meets the light. This is Growth Group Unplugged.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's Growth Group Unplugged. This is episode 204. We are excited to have you in the building, in the cyber building on tonight, Cyber Sanctuary, whatever you want to call it. We appreciate you. We're excited about tonight's discussion. We hope, trust, and pray that all is well with each of you on tonight. We are excited about our discussion on tonight, and we hope that you are as well. Go ahead, take a moment, like, share, subscribe, tag, comment, and post. Do that right now. We need you to get people in here on tonight, so we can dialogue and we can discuss some things to get a better perspective. Remember, this is unplugged, and so we got to unplug from the norm so that we can be elevated to the supernatural. We're excited about tonight's discussion. So I want to bring the council in and also introduce our special guest on tonight that we have with us. So we're gonna bring everybody in here momentarily, and uh, yeah, we're gonna get started with tonight. Taylor, what's good? You on you on deck? What's good with you?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, man? How you been living? It's been a minute since we've been on.
It has been a minute since we've been on. It has definitely been a minute, but to God be the glory. We're all here, so thankful for that.
Amen. All right, so I'm gonna just introduce tonight's discussion with you and let you do your introductory. We are going to talk about what everybody has been talking about for the past 48 hours. I know y'all are tired of listening to it, y'all tired of watching it, y'all tired of talking about it, but we got something to say. The council has to speak. The council hasn't spoken yet, so we're
Council hasn't
going to
spoken
talk
about a lot
about
of
what
things. We haven't
council
spoken
has
about
spoken
a
about.
lot of things
That is
that but
facts, man, facts.
yes.
But we're gonna speak on this tonight. We're gonna hope prayerfully speak some truth into the narrative, and so we're gonna talk about what happened on Sunday night at the Oscars. We're gonna talk about uh, Will and Chris Rock. We're gonna talk about what happened, how we feel about what happened. We're going to look at a biblical perspective and biblical principles as to what happened or what should have happened, um, and we're going to look at it from different angles and different layers. So, just give me your initial insight, your intake on it as we launch tonight's discussion.
Originally, I didn't know what it was about. But I was on FaceTime with my family like we do on Sundays, and my mom was like, "Did you just see Chris Rock? I mean, Will Smith slap Chris Rock?" And we were like, "He did what?" And originally we had learned that it was like about Jada. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, it had to be about the entanglement thing. And my mom was like,
Mm,
entanglement. So we went into that. But come to find out, it was a G.I. Jane joke. I didn't know anything about G.I. Jane until I looked it up. And so, oh, she's bald. And
mm-hmm.
then I believe you had like messaged the group and said she has alopecia. And then
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
yeah,
that hits a little different, you know?
yeah.
Like
Hit below the belt.
people joke, on different things all the time, right? Like
Fact.
I could joke about weight, what you look like, you're fat, ugly, your parents, your family, whatever. But I just feel like there are certain things that you just don't joke about. Um, and I also feel like as a black woman, we pride ourselves in our hair, right? Like
Correct. Correct.
my hair might be a little mess right now, but I still pride myself in how I present myself with that. And to know that that is a subject that she is personally dealing with and is very sensitive about, and that he took it as a very multi-layered nonchalant joke. Um,
Mm,
it was it was funny, but inappropriate at the same time. Now, Will's response, you know, he was standing up for his wife,
mm,
and doing what he had to do. Could there be like an alternative of how he handled the situation? Absolutely. Um, but I still think it was appropriate, you know, like there's just some things that you don't do, and as a husband I don't see what was wrong with it. And Chris, honestly, how Chris handled it at the end instead of like wanting to continue the altercation, and how he was just like, you know what, dude, you're right, my bad. I deserve that.
He realized he messed up. Yeah.
And he took it, and like he couldn't say
like a
anything
G,
about it.
you know, like a G.
He did.
He
He got his whooping and sat down.
Yes, indeed. All right, we're gonna bring you back in a little bit. We're gonna bring on Kiki. I want to hear from the ladies first. What's up, girl? How you doing?
What's going on?
Talk to me.
Let me. I'll start off by saying that I don't want to be a celebrity, period. But if I were a celebrity, I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to have the kind of brand that Will Smith and Jada have, like the Will Smiths of the world, the Steph Curry and Aishas of the world, the Beyonce and Jay-Z's of the world. Like their brand is to
the
look
Megan
like
Goods and the Devon Franklin.
Yeah, them. Like their brand is to look like you always have to be pulled together. You always have to look like this part. You always have to act this certain way. I would never, and that can tie into the church, because just earlier today, I mean, you were saying under your post, like, I don't want to say what I want to say, and you already know what I'm about to say. Well, why can't you? Shoot, I mean, I don't know. I just wish we didn't live in a world, first off, where people would give us so much to react to. And second, when we do react, like it's just a big old thing. I just wish we lived in a world like that. And like I said, I don't want to ever have the brand of cookie cutter. Watch what you say, like, oh, they're the white friendly, quote unquote, kind of brand. Because you bring it to my door, we gonna see what's happening.
I'm gonna let you in.
Yeah.
Let you in. Yeah. I mean, we talked about gaslighting a few months ago, so that's just what we live in. We live in a gaslit society.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about a little bit more of that. I want to, of course, I got to bring my guy on, my brother from another. My guy.
What's good, buddy?
What's good? Talk to me.
There's a lot to unpack.
just give us the cliff notes. Let's just preface it. We're gonna dive in.
Let me just say it like this, because I'm gonna just be on the diving part. Let me give a real quick synopsis, or a real quick kind of point of reference. When I heard it, of course, I heard it from a third party. I wasn't watching the Oscars, which is the first thing. It's funny that a lot of the times we get a bunch of information. Huh?
I said most of us weren't.
Exactly. So it's funny that it's funny how media works. It's funny how fame works. It's funny how influence works. It's a pipeline to your front door, even when you're not looking for it. So I, like many others, got to hear of the situation, or saw the situation from somebody's perspective. And of course, it was tailored towards the action and not the spirit, or not the reason behind the action. So I didn't react right then, but it got me to thinking of a lot of different things. And I was able to see something in Will that I saw in myself at one point. And I was also able to understand the position of the other black man, Chris Rock, and understand other stuff that was going on. So like I said, there's a lot to unpack. I'm gonna just say it like this. In a manner of it being right and wrong, that's neither here nor there at the time. Right now, it's a manner of unpacking what is really going on in front of our eyes that we are constantly shading to the side, right? What we are not really paying attention to. We are a human being, and we have quite a few things that are important, impactful, and a lot of times very vile to deal with. So this was just one of those situations where it came to the forefront. We're gonna talk about it tonight. It's gonna be good. So That's all I gotta say for now.
Let's dive. Y'all, this gonna be good. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna bring one of our guests on for tonight, which was invited by Sonny. We appreciate him accepting our invitation. We're gonna bring Trail on, kind of just give us your background. Let us know, where you're from and all that, and tell the people hello, and just give us your synopsis, man.
My name is my name is Montreal Shepherd, from Goshen, Mississippi. Um, I ain't got too much to say um, about the whole situation. It's a lot I could say. It's a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different ways you can really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna say Will was wrong. I'm not really gonna say he was wrong. I think he was just hurt.
Mm.
I think that's really, it just comes from a place he really was hurt, and I think he still hasn't really healed from the whole situation.
Mm.
But also, what I'm saying, that's the mother of his children, and his wife. Like, I understand, like, I get it, because
Facts.
maybe I probably would have reacted the same way.
Yeah, we're gonna drop an anchor, and then in a little while we're gonna talk about he still hasn't healed yet. So in our final segment, I wanna come back to that and talk about what do we do next, right?
Yeah,
Because I think a lot of us are walking around with stuff that we haven't healed from, and we have to be okay with it because society has moved on. So oh man, that's beautiful. Let's unpack that in a little while too. So y'all remember, I hope y'all remember everything y'all are saying, so that we can really dive into this in these segments of tonight's discussion. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. I'm excited about what you're going to deposit on tonight, and we got one more person that we're going to introduce, and this is one of my closest friends in all of life. I love this guy, like a brother. Um, he hails from H Town, so we representing all over tonight. My boy Ed, talk to me, my guy.
Hey, good evening to everyone. First of all, thanks for having me on, Carlos. And I appreciate it. It's my honor, my pleasure. And, this is a situation where, obviously everybody's going to have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you lose a lot when you just leave it to opinions. There are a lot of facts that are lost in translation, actually, and a lot of facts you don't have because you weren't there, nor are you any of these people that were directly involved in this incident between Will or Jada or Chris. What I saw was something that escalated obviously very quickly that I don't think anybody planned on. I don't think anybody was
Correct.
being malicious in what they were doing. Both parties had some, things that they were right about, and so I think when you feel like you're right about something, you're going to toward that instead of thinking about, hey, you know what? Sometimes, keeping the peace is better than being right. And then between Chris and Will, they both had some things I feel like they was wrong about that they didn't handle the right way. So, I just hope for true reconciliation going forward between both of these guys, and then obviously, Miss Jada. But yeah, there's a whole lot more, than meets the eye there. A whole lot more.
Facts. All right, man. Let's get into it, man. Council, y'all come in, man. Y'all, let's talk. Let's get this thing going tonight. We're gonna put everybody in. Um, and let's run it. Let's run it. So I wanna start first with just what Ed just said, man. And we can work kind of interwoven within everything. Um, he just said that none of them were completely wrong and none of them were completely right. And I just got a word. I just got a word right there within itself, because in every situation, it's like we have to begin to understand that everybody has some right in them and everybody takes some fault in a certain situation. It always. I used to hear this growing up all the time. It takes how many to tango?
Two.
It takes
Two.
two, right? And so I think we pick sides because of our experiences. Oftentimes we pick sides based on our experiences, right? So if somebody has been bullied before or been slapped like Chris got slapped,
Yeah.
or punched or whatever the case may be, or has been targeted before, guess what? You're going to err on the side of Chris Rock. If you've been the butt of jokes before, you feel like you've been belittled or disrespected, some of us are going to err on the side of Will Smith, right? And so I believe there's a lot of truth in both sides, and there's a lot of error in both sides. But I want to go to the Bible because I want to talk a little bit. I want to talk about several different things tonight, if that's all right with you all. I want to talk about the climate of our culture. Okay, the climate of our culture when it comes to relationships, the expectation that's placed on the man. I want to talk about and that expectation can come from society or it can come from the partner, your partner. Okay. I want to talk about what headship looks like in a marriage. Okay. And I also want to talk about conflict resolution. How do we handle conflict and still get our point across? All right. So I want us to unpack all these because everything that you all said is under that umbrella. I just kind of try to simplify it.
You're gonna make me pull out my social worker. I said that conflict resolution gonna make me pull out my social worker hat.
Come on, Doc. Let's have the educated and actual academic aspect of it, right? Because we need to know this as a culture, as a society, as a people trying to move forward. The problem with this situation is everybody wants us to stay in the same place. That's why it's been circulating for the past 48 hours. Nobody wants us to move forward, and it's also a distraction. Y'all don't forget that. So who want to jump in? What should we talk about first? What aspect should we talk about first?
Let me say something before we jump on the aspects. You said that people's sum total of things is a result of what they experience. I say it's also experience. It's also a result of what they've been taught, because in the church, like, y'all is real big on heaven, hell, right, wrong. I mean, well, you just pushed me in here. Like, you just pushed me in. Like, I'm still getting, you know.
I ain't pushing you there, Pooh.
But even with the church, like, there's right, wrong, heaven, hell. There's not a lot of room allowed for gray area, and there's not a lot of room allowed for the why. So in talking, if you're gonna bring it back biblical, let's talk about, or we can do it in the conflict resolution, because we can start on why the conflict happened. I think a lot of times the church does itself a disservice when you just point the finger wrong, instead of trying to figure out what brought on that.
Right.
Oh, beautiful point. Beautiful point. And that's why I like the study of criminology, is because it's not just what you did, it's why did this person do it.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And so we live in a criminal justice society, but we also should have a balance with criminology. We should want to know why this keeps happening, so we can curtail the behavior. You follow what I'm saying? Y'all go to Matthew 7 real quick. Let's have Bible study so we can officially say we had Bible study. No, that's not why. I'm joking. But let's go to Matthew 7 real quick. I want to point out some stuff in here, because we have a lot of being theology in the church. Y'all hashtag that, being theology. Hashtag being theology. What is being theology? I'm glad y'all asked. Y'all, let's look at verse number 1. Matter of fact, I'm gonna change my translation to the King James version so people can hear this in the version that they learn.
Yeah, with the
long
ye and the thou and the they, yes, sir.
Yeah. Let me go to the original, to the oldest rather, not the original, but the oldest that we have. All right, so um, Matthew chapter 7 is where we at. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, y'all open your Bible. Matthew chapter 7. Judge not that ye be not judged. We can start right there. Factually. But verse 2 says, for with what judgment ye judge, you shall be judged. And with what measure you meet, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou? Oh, that's them good old New Testament words. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in your own eye, in thine own eye? Or how will you say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thy own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then thou shalt see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. So what I was saying a few minutes ago, hashtag beam theology, a lot of us have this theological implication that as long as my sin don't look like your sin, I can help you with your sin. Instead of us trying to fix our situation and see where we have been wrong in situations that we haven't still to this day gotten right. But yet we got so much to say on Facebook, we got so much to say on social media about what this man has done, and we still got folk that we punched in third grade that we ain't made up with. So I think that we have to do a much better job, and I believe situations like this happen. Let me tell you something. God does not waste an opportunity. There's nothing that happens in life that God can't get glory from. Let me say it that way. There's nothing that happens in our witness that God cannot get glory from. Maybe while we're watching this and we're distracted with every other thing in the world, maybe this could be a time for us to be introspective and look into our own lives and see, you know what? When have I been Will Smith? When have I been Chris Rock? How have I treated my brothers and sisters in the church? Because guess what? If truth be told, if we wasn't in the church, a lot of folk, I would have walked up in Will Smith myself. Okay, y'all don't like this kind of preaching. Okay. I'm gonna shut up right there. Listen,
this is my favorite kind of preaching.
Truth be told, it's some folk that deserve to get hands laid on, and I'm not talking about holy hands.
Right.
But because we're in the church, folk act like we not supposed, and that's gonna come back to what Kiana was saying earlier. She never wants to live in that microscope or under that type of brand to where she's expected to be perfect. But that happens in the church as well, right? Even as a preacher, as a pastor, as a leader, as a teacher, and whatever, as a bishop, as an elder, as a deacon, there's this construct that says you have to fit this cookie cutter, and if you fit outside of this box, we're not gonna fool with you. If you fit outside this box, you are a heretic. If you fit outside this box, you are a hypocrite. And there's no, watch this, there's no healing with that type of theology. There's no healing with that type of hierarchy. There's no healing with that type of politics in the church. Because truth be told, everything that happened after the slap was political. Think about it. Think about it. Judge not that you be not judged. So everybody that got an opinion on it, I'm pointing at you right now. Because if we can all say
it's easier to see somebody else's flaws other than your own.
Absolutely.
And I told one of my students that today. I was like, it's so much easier to say, hey, you got something on your face rather than me looking in the mirror and saying, oh crap, I got the same thing on my face.
Ooh. Which goes to the point of what happened afterwards. Because there's been more talk about the slap than the embrace. What am I talking about? What Tyler Perry and Denzel did to Will after it was over with. Look, I can't see me. When I'm going throughout the day, I don't see what I look. I don't know if I have something hanging out of my nose. I don't know if I got food dried up on the corner of my lip because I had some hot sauce and I don't know. But when you see me, if you really love me,
You gonna say something?
oh God, if you really care about me, if I'm really your brother, what's wrong with you saying, hey bro, come here, let me holler at you real quick?
Right.
Instead of, oh, he's a slob. Look at his mouth. Like he don't even clean up after him. Like we're so critical. And we live in a hypercritical society to where everything has, listen, everything doesn't deserve our response. Some things we ought to just observe and learn from. Okay, I got some Bible because people can be funny. Romans 15:4, things which were written aforetime were written for our learning, that through patience and comfort of the scriptures we might have hope. Some things we ought to just observe and figure some stuff out for ourselves of how we can fix the narrative in our circle, fix the narrative in our own lives, and break the generational curse, break the cycle. Man, y'all talk, man. Y'all ain't saying nothing.
Well, you know, it's funny. You kind of you mentioned that about sometimes it's just for you to observe and to look at some things in your own life that might be just as haywire as that whole situation went. Because actually, and I'm just sharing a little personal story with me. Today, I talked to my mother for the first time in about 4 months.
Bless you, man.
And I realized, and this is something that I've been practicing in my life just over a number of years now, just dealing with a number of people and situations. I have figured out I've made more headway by just worrying about my own work. Whether I do something right and I say, hey, you know what? You got that right, Ed. Keep doing that. Make sure you stay on that path. Or hey, you know what, man? This is wrong. Or this is not quite showing up like it should be. You know, go ahead and get that fixed up. But it takes some humble pie, and we all know that humble pie don't taste good.
Mm-hmm.
But it heals. It feels good when you eat it, and you're like, man, and then you get it down, you're like, You know, so I called, my mother, and I told her, I said, I've said some things that's unbecoming of me, particularly as a son, just as a man, and I apologize for my part in it. Because I sat there, I was thinking, I'm like, I was critical of Will, and I still am in some ways. Some people can say that's an opinion. I think some of it's rooted in fact because I try to live my life in the plane of fact. Your feelings will get you in trouble. We saw that last night. We saw that last night, and Rev, we're all people of the church, people of the word, man. And I remember something my childhood pastor told me. He said, "Man, don't live life according to your feelings. Feelings have a place, but live your life according to the facts." And that's easier said than done, mind you, because we, like I said, we all get in our feelings at times, and I just feel like it's just better when you start with yourself. And I've seen some of the things that have been said and whatnot, and I think we just got to reel it in, and it's to what you just said, man. Some things are just to observe and maybe even get introspective on. And because we've all been in a situation, let's put it this way, we've all been in a situation like last night, something similar. It might not have been the exact same type of thing, but we've all been in a situation, and we've all been in a situation like that where we reacted the right way, and then we've been in a situation where we reacted the wrong way. But like you said, I like the other point you made too, Rev, about like if you I don't know, you see spinach in somebody's teeth, if you care, if you truly care, you're not gonna be like, oh, he's a slob. I'm not gonna say anything. Hey, man, a little smudgy there, whatever. And you try to move on, and that's the right way to do things. I feel like when you have a vested interest in trying to do things the right way, I think things usually turn out better than not. But people, you can only get to that mindset, that type of disposition when you're rooting what you're trying to do in the facts, and rather than letting feelings be the primary governor. So that's just my 2 cents there.
Man, nothing you just said that it's like it's about love, man. Love covers a multitude of sins. So we have this selfish paradigm, um, that, oh, that's just you. So you're gonna look bad by yourself. No, if you walking around with food in your teeth, with your pants hanging down, um, with your clothes all torn up, yeah, that looks bad on you. But guess what it does to me? It now puts me in a category that people are gonna say, yep, see, that's how they look, that's how they act, that's how they it puts us in a social class. So that love that I have for myself, I ought to have for my that's why the Bible says treat your neighbor as yourself. Because if I care enough about myself that I don't want to look bad, I care about you not embarrassing yourself too. But we're so full of hatred that we don't even have enough love to curtail someone's bad behavior, or to try to help somebody get past their experiences or even what they were taught. And also, we don't know how people were raised. Not only what you were taught, but what you dealt with as a child. Man, let me tell y'all something, man. Some of the most jacked up adults right now in our present day, some of the people who are jacked up the most as adults had a messed up childhood.
Facts. That
Or they
childhood
had
trauma.
something that had childhood trauma, man. And these skeletons have been chasing them all of their lives. And so
it becomes so apparent.
Absolutely. Talk about that, Taylor. Talk about that.
I mean, like, even as a therapist, right? Like, I see the little people, like, and it's hard because I'm already dealing with my own childhood struggles, right? And things that I got going on. And so when I say it's easier for me to see somebody else's flaws instead of my own, that's literally because I'm a therapist right now. And I myself have not even dealt remotely with the things that I got going on, because it's so much easier for me to say, yo, sis, what's going on over there? Rather than somebody coming to me and saying, hey, Tay, what you got going on over there? And I'm like, this ain't about me. This is not about me. Let me help you, because that's so much easier for me to identify what you got going on compared to what I got going on, right? But the childhood trauma is so apparent, especially in adults who are very argumentative, who are very I guess they can't take accountability, who adults who kind of have very, I don't want to say shy, but also who can't necessarily like speak for themselves as well. Like, there's a whole bunch of different childhood traumas that you can like pick on, and then identify, and it's like, oh, well, this is because of this, right? And the older that you get, if you don't deal with it then, or the sooner, then that weight is just going to keep on building and building and building. And by the time you're old enough and heck even want like a partner, you really dealing with that stuff. And now you're expecting somebody else to come on and try and handle all that. But you yourself, that's not their baggage to handle. That's yours. And it's not fair to the other person for you to try and push that on them. Like, oh, well, I've been through a lot. Baby, we've all been through a lot. Like that's no longer an excuse, right?
Facts.
You can't say, oh, like, my dad did this. And it's like, okay, have you talked to somebody? Like, who have you used as a resource? Have you done your due diligence to get the things out of your own eyes before you even try and come for mine? But the great thing about me, I have self-awareness. So I know I'm not perfect. you know? And I tell my friends all the time, like, my advice is merely that. It's just advice. It's my opinion. It's what it is. Like, you can take it, you can leave it, have at it. But I know I also want the best for you. And that was the thing. People who are also very, oh crap, what's the word? Very like defensive. I am very defensive. I know that about myself. Somebody comes for me, I am like, you're wrong. But no, they're not, because they see the speck in my eye. They see the booger in my nose. They see the whatever on my face, you know? And they're like,
Right.
no, this is who you are. And after a while, I finally looked in the mirror and said, oh, they're not wrong. You know, people who are manipulative. Like, my friend called me manipulative one time and I was like, no, I'm not. And she was like, well, you kind of are. And then used what I used to say all the time. Like, if you love me, you do this. I didn't see it as manipulative, but she was like, that's exactly what that means. And I didn't see it that way until somebody who loved me took their time out of their day and was like, Tay, look at yourself. And I had to. There was no way that I could try and get around that. It was in my face. And I had to accept it. And I was like, dang, bro, you know what? I appreciate you. You're right.
Wow. And that's what happens sometimes. When somebody actually tells us who we are,
right,
we don't believe them, because nobody knows us better than we know ourselves, right?
That's what we think.
Can I before we get to, can I talk? I gotta go.
Jump in, bro. Jump in.
I gotta go because we touched on just probably half of the coin of what you were speaking, because I still believe wholeheartedly that nobody knows better than me. However, the thing with people seeing things about you, it's not necessarily so much sometimes that they're less reflective, and they haven't got things out of themselves and they see something that's a blemish upon you, but it's more so that the thing that you're dealing with is familiar. They've overcome it, or they're going through it, and so they're able to point out some things that kind of, like you say, show me a residue of something that I've seen before. Matter of fact, how do you know that you are? And I'm speaking on this to get back to the idea that somebody can know you. They can know of a portion of you. They can know of a point of view of how they view you, where they're seeing you from. They can know you by your actions and also by your fruits. But truth be told, if we really look at relationships the proper way, that person that comes to us and lets us know about the things that have easily beset us, a lot of the times, that's just the second layer of security for yourself in a way. This is somebody who is sometimes very certified to point this thing out, because they have seen what you're about to go through. They have noticed the behaviors, and they have stepped in because they're loving, because they're kind, because they're gentle, because they have some form of want for you to do better for yourself, and they just let you know, hey, have you considered this?
Right.
Sometimes the fact of the matter is, we very well know what we deal with, but we don't accept the process of getting better. Sometimes we don't accept the process of taking the time to go through the mire, right? To add the fire to our situation that's going to burn off the impurity, because that hurts, right? And so we take our time, we overlook it, we put it on the back burner, we say there's more important things, and we continue to lean on the things that a lot of the times are more positive about ourselves. A lot of the times we feel more charismatic, or we feel more comfortable with the things that we know, right? Because we don't want to think of ourselves as incomplete, as ill-willed, as not good, as not a positive light. And there are things that we just haven't processed. It's not that we are unequivocally bad. It's just a simple fact that we haven't done the work. And somebody, right, a professor can tell me every day. Hey, son, you ain't done the work on this problem. I don't see the solution here. You keep giving me the same variables and only going so far. So I can tell you you're not doing this right. And we'll take it and be like, nah, you wrong. I mean, no, I don't, stop coming for me. Matter of fact, only God can judge me, right? But that's the person who is already set up in our way to be not a stumbling block, but a Lego piece. We need to get over this hump the whole time. And we need a little bit of reinforcement. How do you differentiate the two? And that's why a relationship is so big. I know we kind of talking about the hurt and the healing and the psychological aspect, but all of that, everything that we deal with in life, it stems from it's cultivated from relationship. Be it a physical relationship, be it emotional relationship with certain principalities, be it our spiritual relationship with who we believe to be our progenitor, who we believe to be the original, and molding ourselves after that. Everything revolves around, can you build a lasting relationship? Something that's sturdy, something that's stable, and have trust and faith in that thing. And when we fail to do so, that's when we have what we call those traumatic events. That's when we have the weight to deal with. That's when, we see the grown adult that has the child's disposition when it comes to love, when it comes to respect, when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to duty, when it comes to roles, right? Because they have yet to take the time with all the professors in the world, be it people that know better, have been there, be it loved ones that want the best for them, be it literature that they can go read upon it, be it therapeutic help, be it religious or spiritual help. All of these aspects they could use to get to a place to where now I am more so in control of myself than ever before because I put the work in me. Sometimes they rather push it back, put it in the back of their mind. And it's a sensation of instant gratification, because when you move something off of you, that weight moves off of you, you get a relief. But if you haven't racked that weight, somebody just held it for you for a second, they put it back on you. I'm talking about lifting weights right now. They put it back on you, the strain's even worse. You had a slack in the line and you thought you were good, and you went from being tense to being lax. And now that thing is back up on you, and you've had too much. It's too heavy. You've had too much. That's what we saw last night. That's what we saw from Will.
It was too heavy.
It finally reached the breaking point. We have finally got to where the weight is now not just so heavy, but it's also agitated because I'm fighting. And I don't feel like I have the tools to fight. And in that sense, like you said, Kiana, I don't necessarily want this fame look, because now I don't necessarily have the support system to fight it sometimes. I don't have a private life, so even if I wanted to be in a sense that's intimate with somebody, like my wife, that's on front line, I can't go to that. Everybody's in it. It's tough. We see it on a smaller scale. And Will's just one example of many as of lately. If you want to talk about black men, period, Michael Beasley crying out for help. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna tell you, it's just time for all the festers and sores and all the wheats and tears that have been sitting under all the beautiful flowers that we keep going to and overlooking all of the mess that we haven't uprooted yet. They're showing the head.
Bro. Just think about how many people we don't know that are fostering the same weight and the same burden. And yet the church is still arguing amongst ourselves while people in real life out here hurting every single day and have no place to turn to because they don't have insurance, so they can't go to see a therapist. The church is free, but they got so much drama going on that they gonna add to my burden. So where do people turn to? They turn to celebrities. They turn to devices. They turn to alcohol and drugs and whatever they can get their or sex or whatever they can get their hands on to relieve some of the stress. Man, while you was talking, bro, I want to throw something at you, but I can't reach you because you on the other you at your house. Those who have not had a pleasant childhood for whatever reason, those who experience trauma during childhood, loss of a parent at a young age, something like any kind of stress as a child. I had this hit me while you were talking, Sonny. We began to fight the right to choose, because if truth be told, we never get a choice, bro. Y'all come here. We never got a choice. We never got a choice, bro. When I was born, I didn't get to choose who my parents were.
Right.
I didn't get to choose whether or not I wanted to be born. I didn't get to choose where I was going to live, where I was going to grow up. And even as an adult or a young adult going off to college, I knew, okay, I'm going to go to whatever school I can afford or whatever school I can get a scholarship to. That limited my right to choose. Okay, some people don't have that paradigm. Some people don't have that conflict. Okay, cool. You're not who I'm talking to right now. But even you, I still got a word for you. Because guess what? You might have went to the college of your choice. You might have had it like that, right? But you couldn't pick your teacher. You had to select from the courses that you needed. Oh God. You had to select from the courses that you needed to advance in the area of study that you were going to be proficient in as an adult, as a professional. You only had, if I needed to take organic, I had to take organic under these few teachers. And if I've never been in your class, I don't know what you teach.
Right.
So still, I'm fighting the right to choose on who I want to be. Our whole life, it's almost like we're fighting to just be heard. We're fighting to just be seen. We're fighting to just have the right to be who we want to be. And there's always something that's pulling us. And let me tell you something. That's why our spiritual life needs to be intact and in order, because there's something about us that seeks. There's something innate in us that seeks dependency on something. And the more we try to buck that system and we try to be free, the more we are oppressed and the more that burden gets heavy, because we're trying to do something that we weren't created for. We're trying to do something that we weren't. Listen, everything about the human creation was to be totally dependent on God. God was going to supply us with everything that we needed in that garden. But guess what? We wanted the right to choose. And ever since we started choosing and trying to choose or been bucking authority, the burden has been unbearable. Because guess what? Some of the decisions that I've made have caused my life to be harder than it had to be.
I tell my students that all the time. Oh my God.
And it stems from a place to where you can look back. You can look back in your life and you can be like, you know what? I remember doing this as a child. I remember doing that as a child. I remember I had this experience as a child. And guess what? I'm still that same child. I just gotten older. What am I saying? I'm saying if you go read Will's book, if you go read Willard's book, you'll see about how his childhood was. And there's a part of his book where he talks about he's always felt like a coward. he's always felt like a coward because he witnessed his mom get beat up by his father. And he felt like he was a young man in the house that he should have defended his mother because she was helpless. So his acceptance speech, he talked about being a river to his people. Oh God. Y'all see, people don't understand because we don't read. we don't take in the information that's out there, it's available. He gave us who he is. He gave us the blueprint. He said, listen, this is what I finally got enough faith in God, and I finally got enough courage. You know what? I'm no longer going to hide behind my pain. I'm going to tell somebody who makes this man up, right? So his whole life, he's felt like he's always let down the people who he loved the most. So in this moment where he finally caught the joke and he looked at his wife, he saw her hurting. Yeah. He had to ask himself, am I going to be a coward this time? Am I going to be an enabler to the pain of my loved one? Or am I going to finally stand up? Now, how he stood up, we can talk about that all day long from a theological perspective and as a place of a Christian. We can talk about that. We're not saying that. What we're talking about is the root. We're not talking about the action. We're not talking about it coming to a head. We're talking about why. Right. People are in a fight, man. We are in a fight. And we've always been trying to find our own way, find our own identity, because of not having our own right to choose. Think about Will as a teenager, seeing his mom being beat by his dad, the two people that brought him into this world, and he didn't have a choice.
Do you feel like he didn't have a choice, or he just chose not to take it?
He didn't have a choice. It wasn't his decision for his mom to be beat up.
No, that's not what I'm regarding. I'm referring to.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Is he didn't have a choice. You know, that wasn't his decision. That wasn't a choice that was up to him whether his mom was going to be hit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's the trauma part. What were you referring to as far as the choice?
I'm just referring to him standing up, you know, and he did he made that choice as a younger man not to stand up to his dad and have his little brother do it instead. So yes, it's going to make you feel some type of way. And now that you are older and you're facing the same type of situation and you see your wife just got smacked in the face by a joke, like he's now no longer sitting like I am standing up, you know, and now the context and the why makes so much more sense. So much more sense.
There's really good and easy and understandable context as to why it took so long and why this situation is different than that situation. Because of his position as a teenager, being under the dominion and power of his people, he had a fear of repercussion. There was trying to do the right thing. Now, he had fear of repercussion. Potential harm could have came his way, right?
Yeah.
He beating on my mother. What can I do as a smaller? You see what I'm saying? This situation was a little different. It presented him with something that had less fear of repercussion. Still some, but a little less. I'm a grown man. My stature's larger than the guy that said what it said. At the same time, he also looks like me, because there's another dynamic about this we could bring into it, right? There's a whole nother dynamic. I'm gonna let Trail talk about that, because he brought it up to me earlier. I was like, good question, but he looks like me, right? I'm not fearful of me. I'm not a little boy looking to a man. I'm a man to a man now, right? I'm a black man to a black man. How? I'm not gonna stand for this now. So even if I do take something, I'm standing up in my masculine. I'm standing up in my manhood. I'm standing up in truth and faith. to this particular person that I love dearly, and I'm standing up on my moral, on my strength. I can do that now. As a child, as a man child, I know this very well. There wasn't no way, no matter how much, if I had atrocity in my household, which I didn't, thank God. But if I had atrocity in my household, up until the age of 16, there wasn't no way I could face my dad. I'd have been 6 feet under.
Yeah.
And then what good would that have been?
Facts.
So sometimes
And
you
it
have to
still would have
delay.
happened after you were gone.
Exactly. When you're in that position to make a change, see, that's the availability of choice that he's talking about, right? It wasn't really something he honestly had. Could he have done it? Sure. May have worked out for him. Who knows? But he played his cards in the best possible outcome with what he had. Now, those decisions were, as he put, somewhat of a domino effect over his life.
Yes.
Because it psychologically blanketed him. Psychologically. This is somebody finally doing what you do to fear as a kid, as an adult. Fear is innate. You don't learn to fear. You already fear. And then you unlearn how to fear. You learn how to have courage over something. I don't know what'll happen if I jump into the water, if I've never been in the water. But if you push me in there as a kid and my instincts kick in, I'm afloat. The longer you wait to learn to swim, the harder it is for you to learn to swim. The more fear you have of the unknown, the more fear you have of the things that you don't know what it could possibly do to you. People say it all the time as a cliche, but it's not true. What don't know won't hurt me. That's not true. That's not true.
Facts.
But when you finally get the position, the posture, the strength, the unction, the motivation to do something, and you go and do it. Yeah. I'm sure he was pretty nervous before he stepped up. What are people gonna think? It was a flash second, and he decided this time I'm gonna act on it.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Jump in, bro. Jump in.
And this is me kind of flipping the pancake. So when I say that, y'all can probably figure it out. Like, hey, let's try to look. Let's maybe look at another angle, another view of it. And listen, I am a strong believer that the child is the father of the man or the woman. However you want to look at it. This is not a gender thing, obviously. And to this day, we're all very much affected by things that happened from when we were high. Okay, I think we can all agree to that, right? Okay, but something I've had to learn, like me, my parents. I mean, honestly, they had a pretty bad marriage. They loved me, they loved my brother, they loved each other, but wasn't a great model for marriage. I mean, we saw a lot of arguing, fussing. Thankfully, no fighting physically, but we saw a lot of things that maybe kids our age shouldn't have seen and that nobody should see. Heard a lot of things and grew up poor. Didn't always have enough of anything, and so it shaped me. But one thing I had to learn when I grew up, when I got older, got of age, is that just because you can do something does not mean you should.
Yeah, it's real. That's real.
I'm gonna say that again for some little emphasis. Just because you can do something does not mean you should. And where those lines, demarcation are drawn, is different for everybody, depending on age, gender, race, socioeconomic status, so on and so forth. And so I can understand Will maybe going way back into his childhood there, man. Like you said, maybe even seeing his mom, getting beaten or even being talked to negatively. And then it's like, hey, no, man, I'm 50, 2, 3, I can't remember how it is, 50 something years old, and I got another grown man doing this to my wife. But then I look at it this way, and it's all relative. It's all relative. I'm very much cognizant of that. Yes, I can say that I think Chris's joke was definitely in poor taste, and I would have backtracked if I was him. As soon as I saw the unfavorable reaction from Jada, I think something else that's not being mentioned in this whole thing. I'm really not sure if Chris knew of her medical condition or not.
She came out about it.
Huh?
She came out about it. She came out about it. A lot of people knew. It wasn't private knowledge.
We can't assume that he knew though. Just because a lot of people knew doesn't mean everybody knew. Particularly, and we make a grave, grand miscalculation of thinking that just because they're celebrities and hey, they might come out and say something that, oh well, everybody knew. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know about her hair condition until, this incident. I hadn't seen the interview or how she released it. So you cannot assume that he just knew and was taking some deep dig at her.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion on that. But Will, man, I can understand him saying, hey, because at the end of the day, this is also something that's overlooked too. He laughed at the joke at first, man. But then he saw his wife's unfavorable reaction. Of course, things changed at that point. But in my mind, and once again, it's all relative, but in my mind, man, listen, I know I've been in some life or death situations. I know I've been in some push to literal shove situations. And I know in terms of how I think about physicality, that means there's just a complete breakdown. We cannot communicate in any other way. But once again, you have matters of the heart, you have emotions going here, and everything is we've got a chance to reflect and talk about this for even an hour here. This is
insane. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we can all talk about what we would have done and not would have done. We can talk about what should or should not have been done, but I feel like, man, when you got some things that are deep rooted like that, sometimes it's just fight or flight. And like you said, man, Will probably feel like he's been running away from it his whole life. He said, no, not this time.
Like a freeze.
Yeah. He said, not this time.
Yeah.
So, but just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And I feel like in terms of, this is something I wish I could actually ask Will, himself. Like, did that make you really feel better? Did that really fix the problem?
Yeah.
Hey, his answer might be something that might surprise everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's this gray area that we playing in, right? It is this gray area.
Everything is speculation at this point.
Facts.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Right. And you don't. And
it didn't make him feel better. In that regard,
I'm talking long play. All this stuff we're talking about is slow burn, long play stuff.
Right. It didn't make him feel better, but it was a release.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say it? Is that because there's a fine line. I don't think he felt better, but I felt like I do believe he felt a release. Like, I'm finally okay with being an adult. I'm finally okay with doing what I believe in, no matter the outcome. Right? Because he talked about it, and that's the painful part of it, is because we should have been celebrating the fact that he won his first Oscar on that night, right? But there's been more talk about the slap than the Oscar for his work, right? Oh God! And that's the problem with our society, is that we don't care about a person's work or a person's worth. We care about where they fail or where they messed up at.
Right.
Like again, go back to Matthew 7. We go right back to Matthew 7, man. And it's that's the premier focus of our society is, oh, let me shine at your disparity. Let me take some of the reflection and the spotlight off of me. Let me deflect it to you and your deficiencies, not understanding that none of us are perfect. And I'm gonna tell you, we are all one incident away from responding the same way that will. If we don't deal with our own psychological issues, our own pain, our own trauma, it's gonna take one time too many, and a lot of us will reach our breaking point. God has blessed us so far that we haven't met that one incident yet, right? And then you said initially he laughed at the joke. He didn't even realize. He didn't even, sometimes you have to process stuff. Sometimes it takes you. Have you ever laughed at something? You're like, wait, that wasn't even funny. But you initially laughed at it because you were just in the mode and everything was light. But then you come back like, hold up, did they just insult me? So it was one of those moments, man. That he initially was laughing because it was joke. Oh, hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that one funny, bro. Let me holler at you. So Kenneth Hodge, thank you for your comments on YouTube. I see some of the stuff that let me read this. He said we also need to acknowledge we all have choices to make and must think through in order to always make the right choice. All right, so show of hands, and thank you for that comment. The show of hands, how many wrong choices we've made? Just period. If I look at my own life, I can't even remember I can't even count how many wrong choices I made, even though sometimes I thought it through, and it still wasn't the right decision. Can I tell us this is where grace steps in. When I can't figure it out, when I don't get it right, after doing my best, after doing due diligence, we all need grace, man. We all need it. Trail, we want to hear from you. Lonnie, go ahead and join in real quick. Welcome tonight. Glad to have you back, man. We know you have some stuff to take care of.
Yeah, yes, and Trail and nice to meet you all the guests. Nice to meet you all on and I was glad I was able to catch in to see y'all were talking what you all was talking on with what happened with Will and that, and I don't know if you all were hitting on the different perspective because I'm really wanting to end up hearing the different perspective part, but I know I may not, because like I told my wife when I saw it happen, and my daughter was playing all the videos, the TikTok videos, because like before the Oscars even went off, it was like 50 TikTok videos we were able to almost see that were describing what happened. And I just thought about what you were saying, Carlos, with the with the perspective now that right now and in this scripture we're in these days now where wrong and doing stuff like that and that is being glorified now. We in the reality TV age, reality TV age where now I'm like this messing is selling. Like whatever you do to be messy, whatever it can be done to, and I hate that on that platform with the platform Academy platform. Again, and I hate I don't like bringing race, but unfortunately, it needs to be brought up with. Normally, you don't end up seeing too many people that look like Will and Chris on that platform, and for that to have occurred on that platform like that, it already. I mean, right now, he may have gotten, I guess, glorified or felt like, okay, you redeemed your wife or your wife being talked about, but you're going to still, in the talk about still going to be talked about y'all going to still be talked about. So what really did it profit for that to have occurred in that manner? I mean, dealing with the aftermath, like I said, all the, what's names and, the apologies and all that, that's fine. But that's not going to continue to put away the talk about that you're going to get now. And how you going to address that? I mean, are you going, are you going to go and slap all those other people? Because they're going to be up there talking. Are you going to go slap all these people that have been put out TikToks and memes talking about it? Okay, and if people that's going to still mention it, like what Taylor just said, his wife put out about her hair, she put that out publicly. Are you going to still slap and TikTok them because they're going to still put out more memes even about her? What's her name with her putting that out there?
There's a difference though. Chris had a platform. you can be a regular schmegular person on TikTok or whatever and talk. Me talking about a celebrity has no effect on them. I can talk all the mess that I want to. Chris had a platform.
And their peers.
It was public.
Too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. But the ones afterward that end up talking about and they still was making shade because they were throwing shade to comments after that whole.
Those are comments though. Like people are gonna make memes and videos.
I know that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm not. Yeah, so I'm not. Yeah.
This is how I took it. Is okay. So if I say something about the president, right? We've all cracked our jokes on Trump, right? We've all talked about Trump. That don't have no bearing on Trump,
right?
Trump still gonna do what he do, but guess what? The disapproval of somebody that he sees as an equal,
right,
or the disrespect from somebody who he reveres or looks up to, that weight hits different, bro. It hits different, man, because he has a platform and their peers. Like so there's a certain level of respect that comes with the platform, and there's a certain level of respect. Now let me talk about this because I really wanted to jump in when you started talking about the platform. It's a sad day when we have more respect for the academy than we do for the church. Because the truth be told, a lot of us act a fool in the church, and we would go to the academy like, no, we can't act like this in front of these light skinned folk.
I wonder, truth is that.
Like we have more reverence for that kind of foolishness than we do for how we treat one another in the church, and that's what I really wanted to get on because we have to begin to, like I said earlier and as I preface this whole thought for tonight, we have to be introspective, and the comments that people are putting on posts. That's why I said the other day, man, it's sad that I really can't say what I want to say for multiple reasons, and people are commenting and they don't even know this guy. I actually know the guy personally, right? So there's some things that I know that the public don't know. Right, I was with this guy for 6 months last year, right? True. So it's everybody has an opinion, but nobody has fact, and we operate like Ed said earlier. We operate in a space of emotions and feelings, but people don't want to deal with fact because when you deal with fact, you have to be accountable.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. But yeah, I guess what I'm going, what I was about to say. Let me finish.
Hold on, Kenneth, listen, Kenneth. Yes, they sped on Jesus. But we not Jesus. we're not walking around claiming to be Jesus. We all need Jesus. So and I get what you're trying to say, as where we're supposed to be more like Christ, we're supposed to be okay. But what happens when we don't? What happens when we make a mistake? What happens when we're not perfect? Can I say this? That's why folk don't really want to deal with the church because of comments like that. That Jesus did this, Jesus did that. Yes, Jesus did this, and He also died for our sins. That don't mean I'm gonna go hang on the cross for nobody else.
Yeah. I totally agree with. But I totally agree with what you. I totally agree with what you're saying, Carlos. Why I agree. And I totally get that. At the same time, those of us, who are Christians, and that's what I'm saying, and I'm glad you made that point up about the academy. The thing of it is, if I'm set up here and I know I'm struggling there in church, if I know what I did, was it be honest? I'm honest enough. Be honest enough with it. Like to me, it was kind of like what I was real tripped out on the afterward. Like I say, besides the comments. I don't know where it was with the afterward, the whole media, and then talking about the apologies and all that. Well, if you really meant to didn't do it, I'm like, what you going back and apologizing for? That's what I'm more like. I'm like, what's the real? If you really felt that and that's what really what it is, I'm like this. or have the conversation. Like to me, I'm more of trying to be cognizant of wherever I'm at, and again, and especially because I deal with a whole lot of hellified stuff. Like right now, as we speak, I had to control my temper today because I'm really like this little project thing I'm sitting up here working on right now for the students. Yeah, for the present event tomorrow, and it's also talking about the varied ways that different cultures are being viewed to receive mental health. So, and I'm pissed off about it because I really don't like, because for me, like I mentioned last week, I'm the more of when I see stuff and it look like it's shaded. My first reaction is I want to go ahead and really call it out for what it is, and it really some bull crap. A rap, and I want to say the actual bull s word, but I'm like trying to still again keep my cognizance and trying to be, trying to act the way Christ would have me to. But with that being said, like you said, the reference, if me as a Christian, I have to, yeah, and that's why I guess right now with the word person, I can't, I wasn't, strayed either way. I just know that I was going to hear the mess about the academy and the academy is being revered, and that's what the aftermath of hearing that was just sounded like craziness to me. That's
Yeah,
all I was.
I know. I feel what you're saying, bro. And I'm not. No ill feeling ill type of nothing like that about what you're saying. But I'm saying it's just it's crazy. Let me say this. Um, I see more ignorant behavior from people who claim to be Christians the past 48 hours in comments and in memes and in all this stuff over somebody who apologized, right? Who showed acts of repentance, right? Because none of us we have all had to apologize for something, right? Ours just wasn't on worldwide. It wasn't televised around the world because don't nobody know us, right? So it's funny when things like this happen. We show the true character of who we are, and we act more. We act more like the world in the church than like Christ at times. That's why I preface this. That's why I preface this and with Matthew 7 is because we can all point a finger and say, yeah, Will was wrong. Yes, Will should not have laid his hands on another individual, right? And if that was you or I, we probably would be in handcuffs. We don't even have to talk about that. That's not even what we're discussing tonight.
Oh yeah,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about the root cause of why he did it. We're talking about the expectation that society, we ain't even got to that part yet. The expectation that society and our spouse or partner has placed on us. How do I go home and face my kids? Because we don't know how they struggle with that behind closed doors. We don't know how that affects their daughter. We don't know how any of that. You don't know what happens at the dinner table. Because truth be told, celebrities do eat at their dinner table sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, most definitely.
So we don't know how this stuff affects and the expectation that's placed upon them. So what I saw in the acceptance speech, nope, he didn't apologize to Chris Rock. Because guess what? They gonna handle this. Huh? He meant it. He meant it.
Oh yeah, no, I know. And what I'm talking about in the after, and like, no, I get where you're coming from. No, you're right. What led up to it? Yeah, it was all. Let me say, it was all on to me on both. It was all wrong. How it all came about. Yeah, like what y'all just said earlier. Yeah, Chris Rock should have thought about before you just dug in on, because because again, had it been somebody else probably out there in that audience, they may not would have went up there and slapped you, but then they would have been trying to drag you other ways, try to play with your money, because that's what most of them gonna sit up there and do. They ain't gonna sit up there and fight with you, but they gonna try to, they'll sue you, do whatever it would take to play with your money. Otherwise, so yeah. It should have been some cognizance. It shouldn't have been just thinking about, oh yeah, because I thought, oh yeah, we're a brother. He didn't been on the Fresh Prince, probably have, had some interaction with them before, and just thought they'd probably been okay to dig in on it. Right.
They're friends.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So yeah.
This is another thing in context. This wasn't the first time that Chris has made jokes at Jada's expense. expense, right? This is not the first time, and so I get it. He's a comedian. That's what they do. But guess what? Oftentimes comedians will crack jokes on people who they think they can.
Yep.
They don't crack
Yeah,
jokes on
and that's just
everybody.
like anybody. If they
At some
think
point,
they can dig
at
on you,
some
I know
point, they're not gonna crack jokes
that's
on because they know
yeah.
they're gonna get their issue. I guarantee you, he won't
Right.
crack another one on with me. So I'm
Right.
just saying, man.
Exactly. I get that.
At some point, we gotta all take responsibility for it. Like we said in the very first segment, is that Will isn't all the way wrong, and he isn't all the way right. Chris isn't all the way wrong. Chris isn't all the way right. We can pick out where Chris was wrong, and we can pick out where Will was wrong. We can pick out what Will was right. Was Will right in what he felt? Absolutely, he was right in what he felt.
Oh, yeah.
How he handled it, was that the best way? No, we can't discredit what he felt based on how he responded.
Oh yeah. Well, it's no blame coming on my end because y'all get my both wrong.
Oftentimes, hold on. Oftentimes, that's how we act with each other in the church, and even in family circles, and even in friend circles. Man, we discredit people and how they feel for how we want them to feel. And because they don't feel the way we think they ought to feel, we just bypass and circumvent their actual emotions and their actual feelings. And then when they spaz out, man, what you doing? Why you acting like that? No, bro, I've been told you. Chill out. I've been told you. Listen, man, this is offensive. Agreed. This is offensive to me. Let's go to the Bible. If I have an oath against a brother or a sister, I should go to him and him alone. But what happens if he fails to hear me? Then I got to take somebody else. If he fails to hear 2 or 3, guess what? Then I bring it before the masses. I bring it before everybody. And what we saw, he brought it before the masses on Sunday night. Now, did he bring it the right way? No, you shouldn't touch him. You shouldn't have touched him, right? Unless you was praying for him, right? You shouldn't touch him. Okay, can I go on? Let me go on record and say that because people are looking at me crazy. I'm gonna probably have inboxes when we get off here, but I'm gonna just put them with the rest of them, and I'm gonna report them and put them in on the block list. I don't care. You do nothing for me. But
stick to it, bro.
Right is right and wrong is wrong. What we're here to do tonight is to try to help somebody who feels just like that. Somebody who feels stuck. Somebody who feels the pressure. Somebody who is inconsiderate in how they handle somebody in Chris Rock's shoes. They're inconsiderate of how this might affect somebody else. We're trying to show how this incident can help us to be better.
Oh, totally agree.
We're not really here to talk about who was right and who was wrong. Guess what? We all know the Bible. We all know what we're supposed to do. To one another, treat everyone with brotherly love, treat everyone with kindness. We know this stuff. If you've been to Sunday school, if you've been to church, any, even if you just go on Easter, you know this, right? But what we're talking about is how can we allow our spiritual lives to be at a place to where our social life, emotional life, physical life begins to get better. Because guess what? I'm going to say this again. It ain't the fact that some of us don't want to do it. We just don't want to really cut up in the church like that. The church been saving a lot of people, right? And the thing is, we have to begin to build one another up. That's what the community of the church ought to be about. It's about love, man. And anytime a person is not experiencing love, what are they feeling? Come on, that wasn't a rhetorical question. Like, if somebody's not experiencing love, what are they feeling?
Okay, well, first, my thing, and that kind of dig a little deep because again, what people real?
It's hate. That's it. Right.
I got you. But my thing is right now, and I guess that's gonna open up to a whole new topic because when people say love is used too loosely in the church, like the real definition. Dig in. What's the real? People want to just say love, but what love? Yeah, because God is love. what God really do? Does God all the time just sit up here and just keep patting you on the head, baby? You okay? Yeah. Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. That's gonna be a whole, and I guess that's gonna open up a whole different topic again. What really love is because we in the church, and that's the reason why we can't really get a true love connection talking about in the church because people don't really dig in the scriptures and don't really accept what the word really say about what love is because love has more is more than just the feel good component.
Absolutely. Well, let's put it like this. Absolutely. Love covers a multitude of sins because that's a multitude of components.
Yes,
when you think about it, love is a sum of many things. The reason why God is love is because God is everything. Hold on.
You're not about to do that, bro. Go back. Say that again.
I gotta say this real quick because I gotta let Trail say what he needs to say. All right, but we have to realize love covers a multitude of sin because love has a multitude of components in it, right? God is love because He's everything, right? We can quantify what love. Okay, I'm gonna go here since you want to go. I'm gonna go. All right.
Yeah.
We can quantify what love is in a relationship by the specific virtues, fruits, or values that we think about some particular person when it pertains to us. Those would be considered our, I'm gonna say it like this, conditions. Okay. Our conditions of love are the particular components of love that we say, I have this for this particular thing. And when those conditions have been met, we have completed our part of love and we're done with it. The reason why God is love and unconditional love is because He never allows those conditions to be completed. Even if you go against that condition, if you don't make that thing come real, make that thing come true, you are the antithesis of it. He still loves you. So you talk about a pat on the head. It's not technically a pat on the head because you do get reprimanded. There is still a tough component of it, right? Depending on what you lack, depends on what you actually see as the reprimand. If you lack respect, you're going to see all manner of discord. You know, if you lack compassion, you'll see all manner of hardship and hurt. You know, so we can talk about it. Yes, we're using it loosely, but it's the word to encompass all the things that we may not have the time to express at the moment. So that's the best way to say that. Because if you really want me to get on it, I'll go. But we ain't got time for that. That's a whole right. That's a whole other discussion,
bro. Man, no, man, go, bro, go.
No.
Just scratch the surface, man. Then we gotta get Trill in here. We gotta get Trill in this thing, man.
Man, I can go in if I need to. I love it.
Oh God.
I'm only saying that to say this because this is the concept we're not talking about. Because what the world really wants us to do is look at it as a negative thing. Oh, they went to the actor and they act the butt. No, there was a lot of Black excellence that happened that night, and there was something that happened excellence in the Black community because there wasn't a retaliation like they expected us to do. Right? A brother who did offend a brother, and the brother acted out. He showed love and compassion to.
He restraint. Yeah, he showed restraint. Ooh, come on, man. Talk, bro.
And beyond that, somebody who wasn't directly in the situation, a wise brother, you might know him by the name of Denzel Washington, gave a little bit more love to somebody who was hurt, so that he can go up there and express, this is what I'm feeling, this is why it is. But I want to let you know that even through all of this, I appreciate this and I love you. The Black community, let's talk about that. The Black community didn't take a step back last night. Or Sunday. They didn't take a step back.
No, absolutely not. We actually took a step forward.
Didn't. This is something that's, like I said, all the tears, all the weeds, all the it's coming up. These pimples are popping. We got to deal with it, right? That's just what's happening. We clearing the skin is all it is.
Talk, man.
But I can't. I gotta let Trail talk.
Oh God, Trail, jump in, dog. Jump in, man. Jump in. Jump in.
I've been waiting all night. Moments, Trail.
I've been sitting listening to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all all make good point. You know what I'm saying? So I just know for me, I know men and women are held to different standards. You know, it's a lot of people that say Will was right, Will was wrong. But to put it in perspective, if Jada had went up there and slapped him, nobody would have said she was wrong. Nobody would have said she was wrong. She would have got a lot of praise. What I saw when he slapped her, when I saw when he slapped him, I saw a man that's been emasculated for years. You got to understand, like, the situation with the entanglement, that took a big toll on Will. Took a big toll on Will. And probably still does to this day. Because, as men, we are very territorial. A woman's purity is everything to a man. And we know when a woman cheats, it's emotional. She was loving on him. Like, imagine what that did to Will. Like, so he's already triggered. Like, he's already triggered. And then, because when I saw him crying when he was, making his apology, it was more so like he was crying. But it wasn't just because what the joke Chris made about, the alopecia. Like, I could see that it was deeper than that. This man is tired. This man, like, he been taking hit after hit after hit. Being strong. And it was just like, man, I felt for him. It was like, man, that's, I agree with what Sonny said, though. I saw a lot of unity. I think that if Chris would have reacted, it would have really looked it bad. Fighting on national television, it's really not a good look. But, like, I asked Sonny this question earlier. This was my question. Because it's something that I just thought about. Do you think if a white comedian would have said that, would he have slapped him? Like, do y'all think it would have been the same result? Because you have to understand, Black people, we've been conditioned to be against one another. We've been conditioned to be like that already. And I notice whenever a Black man speaks truth, no matter what he says, a lot of Black people get outraged. No matter what he's saying, no matter how true, no matter how he says it. A lot of them are triggered. So I want y'all thoughts on that question.
I think it still depends on the relationship that they have, because Will and Chris have a special relationship. I don't personally know it, so I can't really speak on it. But they, from what I know, they're kind of neck and neck in the industry, both comedian type people, kind of running the same like film industry, so that's that relationship. I can't really speak on if Will has a relationship. I mean, it'd be one thing if like Jim Carrey went up there and said something, like I don't think it would have hit the same as much as Chris Rock did because they're brother, because they're both Black men. Like I think because Chris is a Black man, it held a different value. It held a different standard.
And why is that?
Because because he is a Black man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a different social norm.
But if it was disrespect, it was just if he felt disrespect from it, shouldn't matter who it came from,
Well, is it not true that disrespect comes from
people that you respect? You can only feel disrespect from people that you respect.
That part. And again, I talked about earlier being peers, right? Just because somebody does what you do don't mean they're my peer. It's a lot of preachers that preach, but they're not my peer because I don't fool with them like that. Right? I don't acknowledge them in that regard as my peer. I respect their office and what they do. But it's certain things that they're not going to they're not going to say to me, and there are certain things I'm not going to say to them. There's going to be some boundaries and lines that they're not going to even feel comfortable crossing, right? But with Chris, Chris is a black man. Every black man know that you don't insult a woman's hair. You just don't do that.
He made a whole movie off of good hair.
Facts.
He made a whole movie off of black women in their hair.
There's
He knows how
there's
much
responsibility that came with that. You know, would Will have slapped somebody that was white if they had said that? I don't think he would have.
I don't even think somebody white would have even made that joke though.
Exactly. I don't really think that either. But let's just say somebody did it out of ignorance, right?
Not true.
I think that they would have got a pass.
Any white comedian that would have actually like had the gall and the audacity to sit there and make fun of a black woman's hair? No.
Correct.
Because that's a black society. That's a us joke.
And that's a culture thing.
That's a culture thing.
All right.
Nobody else can speak on that.
Can I ask this really quick? I want to get you guys' opinion on this. Do you really believe in Chris Rock's heart of hearts? And obviously, this is an opinion, right? So it's an opinion.
Yeah.
We don't live in his head, his heart. Do you really believe he was trying to be that malicious?
No.
Malicious at all?
No.
There wasn't a malicious intent behind it.
No. It matters. In my mind,
no.
It matters. But
and you can even see how he responded that he wasn't trying to be.
Of course.
Right.
So
he had to accept that, you know what, like, I'm sorry.
Hey, my bad. My bad. I messed up. Like,
exactly.
I mean,
I think it shocked him. I think it shocked him for one,
Yeah, it wasn't something he was expecting.
Intent doesn't absolve the action. You can intend on doing whatever. Like, intention doesn't absolve the action.
Well, somebody spoke on that earlier and was like, I can, tell, oh, haha, like, your hairline is funny. But if that really hurts you, that's really going to hurt you. My intent was not to hurt you, right? My intent is to never harm. But if it hit that way, it hit that way. And you have every right to feel the way that you're going to feel. And I have every right to respond the way that I'm going to respond. Now, we can be grown adults afterwards and have a conversation and speak on it. Absolutely. But in that moment, I'm responding the way I think and how I know to respond.
Absolutely.
So that's exactly what he did.
We can even take it further. That joke may have been acceptable at the goal party amongst peers, right? That joke may have been acceptable at an event where they're just sitting around the house talking.
Right.
I don't know
but it was on a platform. Huh?
I don't know if I agree with that at all. I said I don't know if I agree
with that
at all.
What I'm saying, because cultural thing that we do in the black community, it's called in New Orleans, it's called ribbon. Like, we sit there and we crack jokes at people all day long. Like, we do that with our circle, right? We really roast.
No, they know better.
But guess what? I'm gonna go out in public on a platform and do that. I'm gonna conduct myself accordingly. First of all, out of respect for our circle, out of respect for our culture. Like, everybody don't play like that though, right? So I'm just saying that in that regard, it may not have been acceptable, right? But I can see it being more acceptable in an intimate environment where everybody is friends, everybody's the same, right? Not saying it is, but it could have been. But it's definitely not excusable in a public place.
Well, okay. Let me play, not even devil's advocate, but let me just go ahead and bring the monkey in the room that's going to come with that. Everybody will bring up freedom of speech, First Amendment. I have the right to express whatever I say, especially if it's not from a intent of malicious. This is why comedy is what it is today, and that's what people have to realize. Like, okay, well, we want to talk about, this is taboo. All right. So when we put ramifications and limitations on what is and what cannot be talked about, then we are what are we doing? We're limiting an art, or we're limiting a specific type of thing that people use as expression. And then we get into that little nasty clause, which is the First Amendment, and say what can and can't be done. Well, now we need to ratify it. Now we need to put particular laws in it. Now there's certain, like in inner circles, because it's informal, sure, we can go ahead and handle that, right? But whenever you do that on a platform, which we're only talking about us right now in this situation, but we have seen when former presidents have come up and on the largest platform ever say some things that not none of us would ever have said, even in some of the social settings, even in some of the, you feel what I'm saying? But he's not held at a specific jurisdiction to where we can go ahead and judge him. So going back to the scripture, judge not, say you not be judged. So we have to really understand, like a lot of this stuff is about subjection at this point. It's not objective. These are feelings which can be validated, but yet and still doesn't uptend the root. Are we going to uptend the root of what Chris was really doing at the time, which was doing his job and pointing out something that hit because it was descriptive to what he was really just trying to say, and engaging his friends in a way that he didn't think was going to make it a bad publicity stunt. You see what I'm saying? So this is the reason why I don't sit, and this is the reason why I don't sit, and I'm like, well, yeah, he should be commended for that. No. We just had ourselves a very interesting moment that we needed some clarity about, because the reaction, the response to it came at a level a little higher than what he expected and what most of America expected when you think about it. That's why we're talking about it. Because it wasn't socially accepted. It wasn't inside the normal ramification. But like I said, going back to what Trail said, yeah, if a white person did it, and even if it was a white peer, I don't think we would hit him. Why? Because there's different things. I know how to handle my brother. He's not going to go and turn me into the law. But can I say that this guy who doesn't share my culture, all my views, all my understanding, is not on the same statistical map as me, would spare me the way Chris spared Will? Right. This is the thing about it. When we start talking about culture, that's why I said it was a wonderful thing that it did happen in this light, and we could have this open dialogue about it. Correct. To talk and say, because it could have been nasty. It could have been the other way around. We could have had a situation where it could have been a racial thing, right? Say he was really that mad, and we know how we can get when we're rages. Will is a man. I'm gonna be real. I don't think him to be a punk in any way. He's standing up about his. So if he would have stood up about his right there, and then he would have went in jail and had fines and sues and stuff like that, we'd be having a different discussion.
Because I can probably guarantee that a white man definitely would have pressed charges on him.
But because of grace, that night.
And he wouldn't have got that Oscar. He wouldn't have got his Oscar.
And while I agree with what y'all see, but they're gonna make me go back to what Trail said, and I'm appreciate what Trail just saying. Then if you knew that, okay, and again, I know he wasn't probably thinking about that at that moment, but if you knew that, yeah, you would have did that to white dude, then what was the I'm still like, don't get me wrong. I feel that where he probably had, and I'm gonna say there was a Boondocks with Boondock. You know what I'm saying? A nigga moment. There was a nigga moment. I'm gonna have to bring it out like that. It was a nigga moment between Will and Chris right there. But like, yeah, and I'm hoping maybe if they think about it and they communicate it, I'm hoping that maybe it was a real thought, because if you wouldn't think about it, you wouldn't have went up and did that to no white dude. Then I'm like, okay, it don't, yeah, like it should have been where, because now you still open up the doors where between you and your brother that happened, it's still the communication aftermath behind it, where we already tied to the stigma of that's all we like to do when we get up, and even up that now. I'm just gonna say that's just me thinking.
No.
I'm gonna say that's gonna be my position on it. Now y'all don't have to agree with me. I'm just saying that that's gonna be my position on it, and I'm just like that's.
No, I'm not going to defer away from your position on it. But this is the thing: the stigma is that we're ratchet, rambunctious, rages, and that we bring things overboard. This situation showed that that's not true, because somebody did have an action and the reaction wasn't blow up. So that's what I'm saying. Like we got to think about it, man. We got to think about it. We're gonna
Well,
have
on the
those interactions.
receiving end, Chris Rock didn't go and do all the
That
reporting and all that. I mean, but it's
exactly,
still
and that's okay. You talked
That's one
about
of
the
the most
boondog
powerful things
situation.
that happened. That was one of the most
Hold on.
powerful things that happened that night.
Thank you.
yeah,
Is the fact that he showed. Watch it. He showed self-control. He showed brotherly love. He
right.
showed empathy. Listen, and we talk about it's a maturity thing too, right? And because he understands the responsibility that is on him, because guess what? Everybody's going to have a bad day sometime. Every now and then, everybody's going to have a bad day. Every now and then, everybody's not going to get it right. And guess what? Because he loves his brother, because Chris ultimately loves Will and Jada, because he actually respects Will and Jada, he took that. He said, you know what? My bad, bro. I won't. Right? So he showed a lot of different things because he know that that's not in Will's character, first of all. Right? So there's something wrong. There's something wrong here, right? Because we can say, okay, we can't even say that Will acted immaturely. Because for years, what has he done? So this one situation, now all of a sudden, oh, well, he should know better. Oh, he shouldn't have did this, or oh, he's acting out, or oh, he needs to get some help. No, we treated him like he's AB. We treated him like he busted Kanye real quick. Bruh,
Wow.
This dude has literally been a role model. He has tried to be the strength for so many people. Stuff that an example in our community.
Oh yeah, and Carlos, right?
All of these different things, right? So
Yeah.
So what was displayed was brothers coming together. Because how many times have you had about with your brothers, with your friends, your circles, right? And guess what? After the fact, y'all, man, you know what, man, my bad, I was wrong, right? And especially if you acted out in a place where you like, man, you know, we done been out here in public, we showed our tail, and then you get back to the house and now everything is cool, man. My bad, we shouldn't have did that. And that's what happened when Tyler Perry and Denzel took Will over. They said, listen, bro, it's okay. It's okay. It can't happen again, but it's okay to be human. It's okay, bro. We see you, we got you. We gonna cover you in this moment. And that's what I'm saying, right? This is what I want to help the church with tonight. Y'all come here, saints. Is we ought to have some of that. The way that they covered Will,
Right.
and the way they were strong for Will in that moment. Even the one who was the victim was strong for the one who was the offender.
Now, people can't. Let me make sure.
You want to talk about Christ-like? That was Christ-like.
Exactly.
Yep. Now, peep game. I want to make sure that we all on the same page. Now, my respect for Will Smith. Now, like you just said earlier, I still have respect for both of them. I was just because I didn't watch. Like I said, I didn't even like, for me, really, to be honest, I wasn't even caring nothing about watching no academies. I don't care for watching it. I was it was only thing that was just what really got me. It wasn't the fact that he slapped him. It was the fact. In fact, what got me. It was the reactions, the negative reactions that were coming behind it. And really, I was really more like I was telling my wife and daughter. I was more of the undercover shade that would start being thrown of that situation afterward. That's what in the rest of the Grammy that whole night, it was under undertones that were behind. I was more concerned about that. Like, my respect for Will or Chris, it does not change. It changed. I still most definitely I still love Will's music. Everything that when far as the Chris the same way. Like, my respect, and I'm glad that hopefully off camera. I'm hoping they were able to. I know the media gonna still try to drag it out because they trying to capitalize wherever they can because a negative event happened on a platform like that with us being there. All I'm just saying is,
man.
that's what I'm saying. I'm happy. That's what I'm saying. So I will be. So I'm more than happy, and like that's way me as a Christian. That's why I would like to end. Yeah, I try to end up dealing that way with all my brothers and sisters, and I'm hoping. And I don't know if y'all saw my like a recent post that I posted on my profile about apologies. Now, one thing, now I know folks may not like that, but I'm like, I sit up here where I look and every scripture I read through in the Bible. I'm more focused on like right now. If you are wrong, we need to be cognizant ourselves, especially as Christians, the way God would have us to be, that we can be able to communicate like that. We wrong. Don't have that pride in us that we don't want to end up trying to apologize, even if and stop trying to analyze how a person feels. If I know if I offended a person tell me I offended them, then I offended them. I need to apologize. I need to say I'm wrong. I don't need to try to be like, oh, I ain't do it that way, or I didn't make you feel that way. That kind of, to me, that end up will defeat the whole purpose of you trying to really build a relationship with that person. Because if a person tell you how they are, I take people at their word and try to work.
So yes, and then a little no. Okay. I'm gonna tell you why I say no. The apology should still be had, and it should be sincere. But we always have a lot of communication and no comprehension. Always love to talk, and we never get the root. And how am I ever gonna get the root if I don't tell you? Right? I offend you. You offended me, and you lash out. Whoa, my bad. I didn't know. Why? I didn't mean that, and I sincerely apologize. I'm glad we had this banner, so now I know how to handle you. See, the problem has always been, it has not been that we haven't had the dialogue. The dialogue has been had. The dialogue has been done diagonal, horizontally, vertically, in a straight line. Like, it's been had, but nobody ever got to comprehension. Nobody ever wanted to hear why. We just wanted to be validated or affirmed at where we were. Oh, he's wrong.
Great.
Okay, you're right, but I don't know why. Can you tell me why? Because I really don't know, and I
totally
don't
agree. Totally agree. No, totally agree, Sonny. Totally agree. However, that's going to require a relationship in order for to be able to hear. Yeah, that's going to be the building block.
Relationship.
That's the building block to be able to accept when somebody tell you why, because sometimes I'm a big person on telling people why you done because that's what I get down. That's the reason why I put that in there. No, it ain't just apologize. Get down to what's the root. How can we stop this from continually occurring? Because it's going to continue to occur if I'm not understanding why this is negatively affecting me.
Do you think everybody deserves a why though?
Again, and that way the way relationship at. Now, those who I have a real relationship with, Taylor, I feel that they should get a why.
But
that's why we don't always have access to the why. It's because sometimes we don't believe a person deserves to know why. Mm-hmm. Because we don't want to give someone into workings of our psyche.
Right.
Because we don't trust them with that information.
The why is a lot deeper. And what if we
that way I keep a wall up. That's where that's
what if we ourselves haven't even figured out our why, but we're just triggered.
There lies in
triggered, right?
Hold on.
Because there's a lot of reasons. I work with kids all the time, and I'm trying to figure out, well, why did you hit him? I don't know.
Right.
Why did you react this way? I don't know. No, you do know, but you haven't even thought about or gone deep enough into your why on why you reacted this way. You're triggered.
Right. And if you can't do it with yourself, how you gonna do it with somebody else? That's what I always throw out.
But a lot of people don't even deserve a why.
That's what I'm saying. So if you don't know your own why, you sure can't get nobody else a why. So I will backtrack on that.
He's going crazy.
I'll be honest to that point.
The word deserve. The word deserve. What does it mean?
Worth?
Entitled to.
Yeah.
Entitled to through what? There's a work that had to have happened before that. You don't just come and because you had to do a work before you become a specific status, and that status gives you the right for it being there. So if somebody had done some work, if somebody had done some work And then they're at a position to where they're looking to you to get the fruit of that work. And you tell them no. And they ask you for a why. And you tell them, cuz. How will that person ever reach a... See, this is about helping people. How will that person ever get into a position to where they can deserve something if nobody gives them that platform to be accepted? Now we talking about there's particulars. There's certain things you talk about, you know, if it was something that was done maliciously and you needed to just remove yourself, it was a toxic circumstance, it was a traumatic event, it was a life-altering, you know, okay, great. I understand that. But we have these situations happen daily on mundane things. And people withhold somebody's salvation in their own reasoning for not giving them the why, because the why is it's the information that's giving them the truth, and the truth is gonna set them free. But they're gonna say bound because
why is the freedom? Is the key to freedom. Oh,
that's crazy, and that's crazy that you brought that up. Okay, so my dad is starting a nonprofit, right? And he comes and talks to. We have like our family meeting every Sunday, and he asks us like, "How do you feel about, you know, drugs and whatnot?" Right?
Yeah.
We had to ask him, why do you feel so passionately about this? Why do you not want your workers to smoke? Because full honestly, it's legal in California. You like people can do whatever they want to do, but what is your why? And my dad was like, well, because I've experienced what it does, right? And me and my sister told him, you have to be transparent. You have to tell them, because I've done this and because I've seen the effects that it has on not only me, but on other people, and I've seen the history of it, this is why I want you to be better than me. But other people won't understand that why until you let them know why you want this certain rule or agreement or standard a part of your program. And that's fair. But there's a level of transparency that you have to be able to open up about.
Facts.
Because like you said, there is freedom and there is salvation in the why. We knew why Jesus died on the cross. We knew we had our why. We had our why.
Come on in here.
You get me? Like we knew why he did certain things. There was no question. We didn't have to ask. And if we do, he answers it, you know? And it's the same thing. We have our why. And if he doesn't answer it, I told my best friend the other day, it's either a yes, no, or not right now. Maybe you just don't need to know it right now.
True.
And that's
why you clarified that, because you saw that face.
But that's not right now. You're not in the space or the situation to actually handle the situation, and that's okay too.
True.
And that's okay too. However, we never had to question or ask our why, and if we did, there was an answer to it. Amen. There was an answer, and that in and of itself gave us our salvation. You know, that in of itself gave us any type of like question or trying to figure things out. We didn't have you don't need to.
Oh man.
Agreed.
So let's backtrack, because we gotta shut this down. We didn't even get to the part of the responsibility and the expectations. We gonna have to do a part two.
Part two. Part two.
We're gonna have the part two this next week, man. But so let's wrap it this way. We talked about maturity. We talked about responsibility. We talked about control, right? Is it fair to say, and we talked about being Christ-like, is it fair to say that we have a responsibility with the truth, even if it's a self-truth? We have a responsibility to share our truth with others, because really what that is a testimony in the power of God, to glorify God in what he's done through us and with us, right? And too many times people continue to make the same mistakes because they don't have enough data. They don't have enough, they don't have the why, because we're sitting on it. And it's really been a parental paradigm in the church, or generational divide in the church. Well, you don't need a wife. It's just because I said so.
And that's
And
what's been hurting, especially the younger folks. Especially
absolutely
the younger
that's
folks.
true,
Because you can't just say, oh, because I said so. We've sat in the because I said so for too long. No.
Yeah, we don't sit in that section
if you don't tell us, then we're gonna go figure it out ourselves. And most of the time, no.
It ain't gonna be in the same four wall. Right.
But back up what you just said earlier, because it's not the fact they don't have the data, because even back up with the folks who in that was in the I said so age, it ain't the fact they don't have the data. It's the fact that you didn't been got data, but you just don't want to share the data because you putting yourself in a vulnerability that will end up where you're going to get looked at differently. If I used to share that I used to do this, like what Taylor just mentioned about it, people, you're going to be up there. Folks,
that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I'm just saying that's where folks who have done it, that's where majority of people where they come from, that's where they have been at.
Yeah, and still, and we're talking if we're talking about the old church, if we're talking about the old church right there,
yeah,
talking about the old church right there, Lonnie.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Correct. All right. Two things. We can go back to the scripture that he gave today. Judge not, so you not be judged. And he without sin cast first stone. Correct. And that would have shut all that down. That would shut all that down. But the problem was nobody could stand up in that construct because those who had the opportunity to allow that freedom, that truth, that realism to be preached, kept a stronghold on, once again, the door for it to be open. We're not going to let you have the communication here because I'm running this, not because God's running this. That was a difference. Mm-hmm. The data could be there, but the soapbox, you don't get it. You ain't done enough to get it. You're not. I know you. I'm sorry. Right hand God. I was one of the last ones in that type of growing that type of bringing up in Christianity, in religion, in church, right? Mm-hmm. The Pentecostal faith, apostolic faith. You don't know enough. You ain't suffered enough. You can't understand this. And these are the same people that have been there, speak against where they've been, and act like they've always been above it. And just because I'm doing it right now, because I'm there right now, and you have everything I need, you gonna tell me, now disregard any of my experience. Look at where I'm at now and what I say now. And that keeps you stagnant. That's the same thing when it comes to wealth. That's the same thing when it comes to when it comes to community, right? Communities don't get to grow because those who have the ability, the resources, the opportunity, and the freedom to start them and keep them rolling won't freely give the grace for those who really need it and really want to be involved, the opportunity to be there. I didn't say the access. That still doesn't mean you give everything of yourself. You get too vulnerable to where you get yourself cut off. No, there's a line between it. Somebody still has to do what? Deserve. So that means they got to put in some work.
They got to do the work.
So that means a lot.
Can we keep it consistent real quick? Is anybody else distracted by Sonny's cone? No.
I need it. Look, I ain't gonna lie. I need it because it got me here. I was about to go, and yeah.
I feel you, bro. Listen, can we keep it consistent though? Let's keep it a buck. Wait, what you just said though, can it be that not justifying their reasoning, not justifying what they project onto us, but what Taylor said a few minutes ago, could it be actually they're hiding behind the fact that they don't know why?
Mm-hmm. Very.
Can it go back to the point to where we started talking about Will and his upbringing and the trauma from a younger place?
Right.
Can it be consistent with that same ideology that they haven't fully dealt with the pain of their past, so they want control to mask the hurt, and that's the only thing, that's the only crutch that they have. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: some men in the church don't deserve decisions in the church because they don't even know how to make decisions in the home, right? They don't even know how to pay a light bill, you know. So you don't pay a light bill at the house, but you want to come in the church and say we ought to pay this instead of paying that. You don't even know how to do a budget. So could it be the fact that people are masking who they are behind their seniority? Because they don't know why, number one. Number two, they haven't dealt with who they actually are. Number three, they haven't dealt with their past. So we continue to project.
I feel like if they are in a place of authority, it diminishes them in some way, right? Because now they're the ones who are giving out the demands, but then somebody else is in turn will saying, well, why? And it's like, you're questioning my authority, you know, and people aren't ready to be questioned. Nobody in an authority place wants to have that space, you know, shake it, you know.
That's not true, because if a leader is adequate in all his duties, you can ask me 12 questions. I got
a good one, yes, no, a good one, but a one who does not know his why is going to feel some type of way when somebody is now questioning his why. Right. No, you're right. A good leader who knows why, bring the questions. I would love to answer them for you.
What took you so long?
Exactly what I was talking about before. Jesus didn't have problems with questions. He said, let them come. I will gladly answer your questions. No problem. It's when somebody who feels some type of way will either try and circumvent and try and like go around the question, you know, aka Trump. Like, he was never able to fully answer a question, right? Because he felt like his authority was being shaken up. You know, it was being invalidated. And he was like, no, I'm in this position, you know? But
and pride, and that's some pride there.
The leader was
Some
like,
people
no,
have to hide behind. Some people have to hide behind the office because they don't have the qualifications for the office.
He was inadequate. There we go.
He was definitely
but then it's pride on top of it, because when people want to be inadequate and then they feel that they have arrived, they're going to still end up showing that pride. Yeah.
Not that they feel that they arrived. They were affirmed, validated, confirmed by the constituents.
Yeah, who also were inadequate, because I would say the people that put you in there, they inadequate too. If they said that.
Cool. I don't really want to have the government conversation because we're gonna get off here. Listen.
Yeah. That's why I say, son, I don't even want to dig in that back in that because I ain't lying, because they're gonna take me all back where I do. Yeah.
But leadership, like okay. The fact
right now, in Florida's government, it's like the same foolishness going on right now. So I don't even. I know I'll be.
Can we agree to this? Because I know this kind of divulged from what we were talking about, but. All right. And it's still direct, okay? Because we do consider some of these celebrities as leaders, you know, impactful, inspirational icons, right? Role models, right? Can we agree that at some times leaders can be ill-efficient at handling a problem, and that at those times they can fall short, and they should be extended some grace, even though they have taken a position to where it says you have a lot more responsibility.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No. You don't know?
You don't know?
No.
You don't know.
Key. So they're supposed to be perfect?
I ain't saying they're supposed to be perfect, but if you're in a leadership position and one of your inadequacies is conflict resolution, how can you be an adequate leader leading people if you don't know how to correctively resolve or understand people's problems?
But then that's where growth happens, though, right? Because if I know that I'm inadequate in this way, but I am a leader, right? Then I will do everything in my power to get the other people around me to help teach me in this moment, so that if, you know,
But see, you
resolution,
learn. But
Taylor, you
you
got
learning.
I got a question for you. I got a
You
question. Just a moment, Taylor.
in the midst of you learning, that is crippling. Like, you cannot learn without mistakes. You cannot learn without mistakes.
but
So in the
everybody's
midst
gonna
of
make
you,
mistakes, Key.
yeah, but it's gonna be it's still gonna be at the cost of somebody else. So are we just talking about the leaders' inadequacies and feeling sorry for the leaders' inadequacies, or
I didn't
are
say
we
sorry.
gonna also feel sorry for the people that then inadequacy is gonna drip
No,
down
his
on?
point was,
We
I'm
never
giving
said
grace.
excuse.
I am
We never
extending
said
grace
excuse.
to them in
Yeah,
their
we never said excuse.
inadequacies.
You
Wait,
still
what?
hold them accountable. Yeah,
Exactly.
we never said excuse them. We still hold them
Not you.
accountable. But there's a certain level of like, you know what? Okay, how can I help you?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
how can we not continue to experience the same outcome?
Exactly,
Right?
because if I know that
That's what we
my
said.
less is in conflict resolution, I'm not just gonna pound you and go, you suck, you suck, you suck. That's not helpful to anybody.
Our
My
help.
point is, okay, you have this issue now. Let me provide you with services to better you in that.
There you go. I am a leader. I am fit to sometimes delegate as well. I can't do this, but I got somebody who can.
I got somebody.
Isn't that what we do? Oh my God.
It's called outsourcing. We do it all the time.
I ain't gonna go there.
It's called a referral. Let me refer you to somebody who can. Let me bring in somebody who is better at this. This is why the president has a whole cabinet. If we're gonna take it political, this is why he has a whole cabinet. He's not the Secretary of State. He's not the treasurer. He's not, the whatever. He has people that he has delegated into these positions. Let's not take it political. This is why Jesus had his disciples. He can't be everywhere at one time. I am delegating you, and you to go out because I can do, but at that time that'd be a little bit weird. But he had people in certain positions to do what he needed to do. I might be inadequate in this space, so I'm bringing somebody else in who knows what to do. And now it's our job to extend them grace and say, you know what? Thank you for admitting, because a lot of these people cannot even admit that they are inadequate in this space, and then they're gonna feel some type of way. But if I can admit that I am inadequate in this space, and I am now circumventing and bringing somebody else who is a doctorate in the situation, absolutely. And I say thank you. You know what? Good job, dog.
If my job is to lead you to this is why I wanted to go. I was trying not to go, and I'm gonna leave it alone after this. If it's my job to lead you,
we gotta go, y'all. We gotta go
to who and what is really meant to help you. I as a leader, about building you, about growth and cultivation. I can give you skills. I can give you exercises. I can give you all of these manners of things to do the work. But just the work. Once you apply that work, you will start to see more about you. And you, unequivocally, you being the representation of who got the answers for you. Once you start to work that thing out, you begin to realize who you are, whose you are, and who got you. Because I'm a leader. I don't got you. I'm not your God. I may just be a representation of somebody that can lead you to getting closer to the very thing that you need. My conflict resolution to your life, I have none. I ain't never been in a situation you've been in, but I know I got. And I quite know that since you're not dead, I know you, and I know I can get you to him, and I know that he can be in you. That's man.
Oh God, thank you, Holy Spirit.
Man. Yeah. So yeah. We can definitely extend some grace. I would definitely extend some grace to the gentleman that this thing happened to, because I just gotta see how they gonna recover now. Let's see that. Let's see the beauty in this. Whatever.
Can I challenge this as we close? Can it be safe to say that even will extend the grace towards Chris Rock?
Yes. Yes.
Because if you know, like I know,
Man.
if you know, like I know,
Right.
if you know, like I know, so we got to see the good and the God in everything. We got to see it. We got to search for it and count everything for what it is. Everything is not lost. Even in the moments of our fleshly moments, in the moments of our weakness, Paul even said it. When I want to do good, evil is always. He without the first sin, he without sin cast the first stone. Judge not that you be judged by the same measure in which you judge. And so I think that the totality of this incident that the church has witnessed, that believers have witnessed, that members of the body of Christ have witnessed, is that we should analyze this from a theological place, from a scriptural place, a biblical place, to say how would I react in this situation? How would my life be impacted, and how would the life of others who are connected to me be impacted? How will I respond when I'm put to the test like this? Will my faith be questioned? Will my morals be questioned? Will the grace that I've been given be taken for granted? Because when truth be told, when we act like that, it's almost as if we take the grace for granted. Like, okay, we need the grace, but we don't want nobody to have it. So this is unplugged, man. So it's been a healthy dialogue on tonight. We thank everybody for their deposits on tonight, even the comments. Thank you for all who stuck with us. We almost 2.5 hours in. This how it goes down. You know, we all are friends. So, and we all are blood. We all are, we covered by the blood. So when we talk, we talk. You heard me? So y'all drop your final thoughts in. I just got out the way, got mine in. Drop your final thoughts in. We're gonna go 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Jump in.
So I honestly had to call my sister because I was like, she said a verse on Sunday and it like hit me. And it says, "We shall overcome by the blood of the Lamb and our word of our testimony." Right? So when we're talking about being transparent and knowing our why, our testimony is our why. And we have to be willing to be transparent and know our testimony. And that in and of itself will heal a lot more people than we even realize.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Trail, give us your final thoughts, my brother.
Can't hear him.
Yeah, he need to unmute.
He's on mute.
Oh, I did it again.
Right. Yeah, look like we're having some technical difficulties on his end. Hey, Trail, type what you want to say. If you want to say something, type it in our thread, and we'll read it out for you. We'll still get your message across, brother. Leon, love.
All right. And Carlos, by the way, anyway, yeah, I want you to know I was listening to you. Matter of fact, what you were preaching on was kind of concurrent with what Brother Wesley T. Leonard, and I want to make sure I tie that in to this. That even though I don't know what level, or I mean faith or where they at, but negative things we're not excluded from negatives occurring. However, as children of God, when we trust God and be focused on what God would have us purpose to do, then the whole attitude, when we see situations like occurring, we can be able to see the positive in that we can be able to see the God. And I'm glad that, like I say, I concur with everything that you all said, that you all saw the spiritual things that happen amongst the negative situation that the world could have been viewing that happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith. I see it too. Only thing that I want to make sure as fellow Christians that we are encouraged to continue to be where God will have us be and be more focused on being prepared so we can be able to know, like what Taylor mentioned about the why we need to do what God would have us to do, why we need to be able to live where God have us to live, and be able to share that with others, because others who come along right now, yes, we are in the age now that, yeah, like Taylor mentioned, we're not going to want to end up hearing do as I say. No, no, okay. Why? What have you done? Why we end up living like that? And we got to continue to be able to, and that's going to be a breakthrough that we have to make within ourselves, each of our individual selves in the church, and that's what something that we had to continue as we new people, yeah, convert to Christ. We need to be continue and help people to be more tapping into their mental psyche and being able to trust that, let God tap into our psyche and let God, and trust in Him, and lean out on our own understanding of ourselves, and let us be able to focus and be able to, don't be afraid or be ashamed to let Him build us to where we need to be. And I thank God that He's still working on me on that. But right now, I thank God that I'm much further along. That's why, like at my school, I can be able to tell my students, yeah, I did what you set up here and did what you're trying to do. Time some. I've seen where it got at me. That's why we can do that. All right. So that's my point.
Kiki.
What Trail said earlier about the women and men dynamics, it made me think about a lot of the conversations that I had yesterday and today. It was to my surprise. Usually when stuff like this happens, it's my brother and other brothers that call me and we gonna argue and fuss and yell at each other about stuff like this. But this situation, I've seen more women say that, oh, he shouldn't have did nothing, or he whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Are we protecting Black women or are we protecting Black women? Like, I think that we've been unprotected so long that, or we've just been talked down on. We just been trampled over so long that we see, even though some people might not agree with how it was done, like we see a Black man protecting a Black woman, and now it's the women, it's the wenches that, oh, he shouldn't get that. He said, wench, what do you want? And I think that not just women, but I think that everybody can get in that sentiment. Like, we gotta stop with it. We've been fed crap for so long that when somebody takes the plate from us, or they give us back an empty plate, or they give us back a plate with just a morsel of something good, then that's when we retaliate, because that's what we're not used to. It. That's not our expectation. I think that y'all keep slapping people. That's all I'm gonna say. I stand beside you. That's it.
Bless you, Queen.
Yes,
keep
sir.
that same keep that energy, because that's what we're gonna get on next week. That's gonna be part 2, because we wanted to transition over to that tonight, but we just got stuck, man. It's just too much to unpack. So it's a lot to unpack, and that's gonna take a whole probably 2 hours to unpack within itself. Yeah, thank you. And I'll say this, because nobody ever said anything about it when that was said. I forgot who said it. I think Lonnie said it. But if Jada had got up and slapped him, nobody would have said anything. I still think there would have been some blowback. I think that it would have been some blowback regardless.
I mean,
I don't think
it would have been the aggressive Black woman trope. It was
that's what it would have been stereotyped as angry Black woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Here go another. So we're gonna deal with that. We're gonna deal with that next week, prayerfully. TP, close us out, boy.
Um,
Final thought.
I gotta say two things. First thing, on Kiana's point, like, yes, it was. I feel like it was an act of protecting the Black woman, but it was also one of the most vulnerable moments of us having to learn how to accept the Black man. I think that is what rings volumes to me with the situation. But so what I wanted to say as a final thought is I'm really appreciative, first and foremost, of this place to have open dialogue. And for those of the viewers that don't know, I within the last month and a half, I went through one of the most traumatic things, well, the most traumatic thing I've ever experienced in my life. And
Amen.
I understand how difficult it is to keep moving, to keep wanting to progress, to keep wanting to push forward. When this is funny, when a part of your why is no longer here. Yeah, I resonate with a lot of the things that Will Smith felt in different ways. I resonate with the position that our other Black man, Chris, took. I appreciate the position the other gentleman took in being a comfort and solace, but more so just on the scale of our everyday life. Like, I more so am appreciative of even the little things now that easily beset me, that aren't on such a scale that where the whole world can see, and the whole world share my pain. Because through this instance, I realized that sometimes it's easier to suffer alone than have others be in it and have their hands in it, even if it's to be supportive. But at some point, you do have to come back and live. And I'm glad that I've had this opportunity to experience that, do that. I'm here now. And we'll be here. I'm glad we back. Like I got a lot to get off. So
Bless you, man.
Amen. Yeah. Amen, bro.
Love you, man. I love you, man. Yeah. And we in this together, man. We in it together, bro. My final word. Can we be all three? Can we be all three parties that we witnessed on Sunday night? Can we be Will Smith? Many of us have been Will Smith, but when we move out, when we act outside of our character, can we have the same grace and humility and forgiveness that Chris Rock displayed? Right? As we progress into our journey, can we move from the actions of a Will to the actions of a Chris Rock, then to the actions of Denzel and Tyler Perry, to where we create a circle of healing,
right?
Where we create circles of covering, to where we create circles of love and circles of mentorship. Can we begin to progress in all three stages of our lives so that the next generation coming up will have something to say, you know what, I've seen it happen this way, and this way, and I want to be like number three. That's my final word on tonight, man, is we got to move forward. It's time now to create circles, circles of healing, hope, covering love, and mentoring. We appreciate y'all being here. Y'all stuck it out with us to the end. We love y'all. Y'all flew with us the long way. We appreciate Bing bong.
You gonna need to wait till we go off the air. You are throwed on.
We appreciate y'all. We love you like a fat kid love cake. We'll see you back here next week. Same time, same place, same grace in the same space. This has been New Heights Growth Group Unplugged, where we grow together in a group. Much love, everybody. Peace. We out of here.